So last year, I made a video about the best Algorand staking platforms available on the network. We're going to take a look at that and see how it fared. And we're going to make a new one for this year. By the way, last year's didn't do so great. We're going to look at that all on today's Frugal BC. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Frugal BC. We are talking about Algorand staking today. So we're going to look at the best projects. I'm going to review my stack right now as the top 3 staking platforms that I use. We're also going to go back and look at last year's video because let's just say it did compare so very well. And then I'm going to give a little shout out to another project that I still think deserves the shout out, even though I don't think they belong in this list anymore. We're going to talk about that too, so stay tuned to the end of the video. And as always, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, I very much appreciate that. I hope you see all our crypto experiments, because I try this stuff out, let you know how it goes, good, bad, and the ugly. And well, we got some ugly in last year's staking video, I'll tell you that much. So a pretty common thing that YouTubers do is they'll make a best staking, best blah 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 for the next year. So they'll make it in 2022, but it'll be for 2023. It's a pretty common thing that they do. Before I get to my current stack, we're going to talk about those projects that I talked about, because I will tell you this list does not age well. Not at all. So well, the first one ages the best. The first one is Lofty AI, and I don't think Lofty AI really belongs on the list because I don't think it's a staking platform. It's something very different. Remember a year ago we had far fewer options than we do now, so I think that's one of the reasons why I included it. But Lofty AI is a real estate platform where you buy tokenized real estate that goes on the blockchain. And so you get little micro rent payments. So it's kind of like being a real estate investor, but you can do it on a much smaller scale. And I haven't loved everything that they've done lately. I think I talked about that in my last review video. But overall, I still think it's a great platform. I just don't think it belongs on a staking video because it's not really staking so much. The other one is Cake DeFi, and I've been actively getting out of Cake DeFi now. The rewards were pretty solid. However, my main concern with Cake DeFi was it kind of has a difficult off ramp. I did end up finding, well, first off, I unstaked all my Bitcoin that was on there, and it was paired with DeFi chain, but anything that was Bitcoin, I unstaked and sent back to my wallet. That is all in my Algorand wallet under Bitcoin now, which is where I have all my Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you want to know how to do that, I have a video. I will show you exactly two different ways that you can move your Bitcoin and ETH to your Algorand wallet. But anyway, I don't like the lack of, it's very, very difficult to get your DeFi out. You cannot swap DeFi for Bitcoin on Cake DeFi. You can swap Bitcoin for DeFi, but not the other way around. And I don't like that. I didn't like that from day one, but more and more that kind of stuff makes me nervous. It's like, I'm sure they could do it. They're just making it so that you can. Now, you can use the DeFi chain wallet, but that is very difficult, as I found. I tried sending like $5 worth of DeFi to my chain wallet, and it just updates, because apparently it needs to, like, it seems like every wallet has to validate all the blocks or something, or it has to record all the blocks. It's really, really strange. I've never seen a wallet like that. Pretty much turned me off the whole DeFi chain, so I am out. I'm not making videos about that anymore, but that's what we're here for. We do the experiment, and it's good that I'm telling you about that. I haven't really made a lot of Cake DeFi videos since then, and it's good that we're getting that out there. And then, the third project is Yieldy. Now, Yieldy, yeah, I know. Yieldy was like the OG of DeFi on Algorand. It was the first one I was in on day one. I got that big Yieldy drop that they did, which is funny to think that was actually worth something at the time. Now it's basically that 5,000 would be basically useless. Yeah, so I have a video on my channel you can see where I talk about what went wrong with Yieldy, the story of kind of how it went south. Basically, it's just a dead project at this point, which is funny because there's not a lot of projects like that. We had Algorand that just was a complete rug. Yieldy wasn't a rug, it's just a failed project. People just lost faith in it, and there's so many better options, some of which we're going to talk about right now. Okay, so what does my stack look like? Well, first up is Kamina, and the reason I put it at number 1, and that I'm not doing these in reverse order, This is my top one right now, and it was my second for most of the year, but right now it is at the top. Most of my coins that I'm using for DeFi are in Kamada. Why do I like it? I think the user interface is really easy to use. I love the auto compounding. I think that's great. Very, very slick and handy, and saves you a lot of steps. I mean, you still gonna have to sit there and let it cycle through, but you don't have to go to your pool, add coins, blah blah blah. It just does it automatically. I'm using both their staking right now and their coins. I like the staking one the best. Like the Cosmic Gold, I'm just staking all my Cosmic Gold, and when they send me more for having the NFTs, I turn that around and stake that as well. Some downsides, now there are some good coins on there, but you have to be really, really careful. It's a permissionless structure, so any ASA can put their coin on Kamada and participate. So you got to really research your projects. I'm very careful. I've learned my lesson. I'm very, very careful about what projects I put money into, even in staking. So just don't go chasing APR just for its own sake, because I'd rather use a lower APR with a coin that I think is going to be pretty solid, so I'm not going to lose my shirt. Now, number 2 on this list, and it was number 1, is Tiny Man. Why is Tiny Man number 2? Well, first let's talk about what's great about it, because I love these farms. I love that they use solid projects. It's usually like, Cosmic Gold, I think, is generally pretty solid. It's a lot of user base, which kind of helps make it stable. Use US dollar coin, the Algorand version with Algorand. I think that's a great combo. Might get back into that one a little later on, but I think it's a great. I've really thought they were solid, and that was my go-to all year. I love the way they lay it out too. I love that you can see how much you're earning per day, which also you can do on you can track that pretty well in Kamada too. Fair enough. That's one thing I like about both of those actually. And so those are 2 solid ones. Now, why did I get out of it? One, well, I was in the Cosmic Gold algo, and suddenly the APR dropped to like next to nothing. It went from, must have been 60-70%. It was pretty high, to like 8. I think it's right now it's about 8% between the two. That's not so good. And I went from making like $1.60-$1.70 per day to like 20 cents a day. That's not great, that's a severe drop. Now, I was using those in governance, so I broke governance so I could keep earning a decent APR. Also, there are a limited number of options. It's one thing to keep in mind. Like right now, there's 2 farms on it. There were 3. I think they were up to 4 or 5 at the most. So not a ton of options on there. That's one thing to keep in mind with the Tiny Man farms. I still think they're solid, but a little disappointed. I have had pretty good feedback reaching out to the team. They'll get back to me, and they're pretty polite, so I always like that. So overall, I still think Tiny Man is a solid project. Not using it right now, but I'll keep an eye on the farms, and I might in the future. And then the last on my list is PacFi, and the only reason I put that in my stack is that they have a Go ETH pool, and so I'm actively holding Ethereum in my Algorand wallet as I am Bitcoin. So if I find a use for it, I always like to stake it. Not getting very much coin, to be honest, and that's okay. It's not a huge APR. It's like 10% with the governance rewards. So really probably more like 5 or 6. But at least I'm able to use it. Have to give a shout out to Algogator, because that's a great dApp where you can see opportunities for other DeFi from coins in your wallet. Probably wouldn't have known about PacFi having that. So that's my stack, but my top 2 are definitely Kamada and Tiny Man, and I include PacFi just because I'm using it right now. There's not a lot of else that I'm really like super reliant on. Humble would be great, except it does not recognize the coins in my wallet. And I don't know, I should probably reach out to them and find out what's up with that. I haven't tested it out lately, but I've tested that out several times over the last 6 months, and it's never worked. It worked in the very beginning for me, and then it just stopped working. I was in the Alchemon pool, and I was trying to add more, and suddenly it just would not recognize anything. So it would always say 0. Tried the whole disconnect your wallet, reconnected thing. I don't know. Yeah, and then I want to give a little shout out to Lofty at the end, because I do think they are a good platform. Couple of things I don't like. I don't like that the way they changed the payment structure. I think the old one was a lot smoother. The new interface is kind of clunky. I don't like it. and I found out I was having some trouble, and good for them for getting back to me right away. I was having some trouble because you get these gift certificates for the platform if you refer people. If you refer 5, you're supposed to get an extra 50. What they don't tell you is that they only pay those out at the end of the month. Now, Louise from Lofty responded to me on Discord and said that that's the case and was very polite about it. I appreciate that. But I informed them they also should probably put that on their website so people know, because people want to know that they think it's something's wrong because they're used to getting the other one right away. So fair enough. I consider that part of like the way I monetize on YouTube, because then people click on the link on Lofty, and I wouldn't put it in there if I didn't think it was a solid project. Like I said, I'm pretty invested in it myself. Got about almost 2 grand of Lofty tokens in there, so something to keep in mind. But a couple of little things I hope they fix up. And that's my stack. I want to hear what your guys' stack. What's your Algorand staking stack? Let me know in the comments. That is a difficult thing to say. And we'll find more tongue twisters for you coming up. So all right, guys, thanks so much. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys are safe out there. Happy holidays if you celebrate. If you don't, have a good time anyway. And remember, not your keys, not your crypto. Get as much of your stuff off exchanges as you can. And as always, I'll see you in the future.